We are so excited for this video. Thank you for coming along and welcome to our garden, or maybe we should say welcome to our grocery
That's
store
right.
because in the last few weeks we have not needed to buy any produce from the
hmm
grocery store because this is what we're eating and this is amazing. I want to show you guys all the things that we're growing. So some of our plants have exploded
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we just have so much. So thank you for joining us today as we harvest. And I'm also going to show you some things that we're not necessarily ready to harvest, but I just want to update you and just show you how much our plants have exploded in the last couple of weeks. So come along and I hope you enjoy it. We are going to get started with the green beans today. And the last time I talked to you about the green beans, I showed you how we had some kind of critter that came and had eaten a lot of our plants. And this is what it looks like now. First of all, some of these plants have recovered a little bit. So we have a few green beans here, but for the most part, they're not doing so well. So I might just rip these out. And also these yard-long green beans are doing amazing. So we have a lot of these to harvest today. And we've already been harvesting so many green beans, but we're gonna do that today. We found out that the critter that was eating our plants here in the garden was a groundhog. And Glenn was able to catch it with a live trap and release it back in the wild, far away from our home. So because that creature hasn't come back, the plants have had a chance to recover. Especially these ones over here. These ones were really bare last week. They just didn't have any leaves, but they are recovering well and they're also producing some green beans. So that is very exciting. Okay, so we're gonna harvest from this bed.
I personally really like these yard-long green beans. For me, they're delicious, and I just feel like they're a lot faster when I'm cooking. You could just kind of rinse them, lay them out, and kind of chop, chop, chop real quick on the cutting board. And I feel like it goes faster than having to snap off the tops and the bottoms of the smaller ones. But it's just my preference. I also like the taste of them as well.
I wasn't even planning on growing these this year, but I had a few seeds left over, so I decided to just plant them. And we want to save some seeds. So we're going to let some of these go to seed so that we can harvest the seed for next year.
And as you can see, they do get quite long.
And it makes it very easy to harvest too because you see them very clearly as opposed to the other green beans, just the regular green beans, I guess. They're a lot harder to see and sometimes you just miss them altogether. This bed also has blackberries, and honestly, we did not think the blackberry plants would get so big this year. And oh, this one's tangled. But they sure did. The blackberries are kind of taking over this space, which is fine. It just makes it a little bit tricky because here in this trellis we have green beans, but we also have blackberries that, like this one for example. And here we have blackberry, this blackberry bush that is trying to like climb on the trellis, I guess.
Yeah, several of these branches have really poked out of the other side. I didn't intend for them to come here because we've been thinking about removing this trellis in the future, but they've just been growing like crazy, and it looks like they have poked out several of them on the other side of this trellis. Now, as we're harvesting, the way that we're doing this is we're not just yanking on the plant, but we're actually twisting them a little bit just to get them off, because if we yank them, the flower part will come off. It won't be able to continue to grow. But if we just kind of twist them a little bit and take them off, usually two more will also grow after it.
These little buds at the end are actually going to become more flowers. We've actually already harvested, see, 1, 2, 3, 4 green beans from this shoot. And there's going to be more flowers here. So that's why we don't cut them here, or we're careful so that it doesn't break, so that they can keep producing.
It's good to get out here first thing in the morning before it gets too hot and just kind of harvest. It's very fulfilling to kind of start out the day like this, just bringing in a massive harvest.
Yes, and it's quiet. Oh, honey, do you see this one here? I think there's two right there. Can you reach those?
Yeah.
Do you see them?
And this
Those.
will continue to produce well into the fall as well.
Yes. We're going to be harvesting a lot of green beans from this. And it's, I think I only planted like nine of these plants, which is unbelievable because that is a lot of food from just a few plants.
I think I'm going to have to probably tie this up again because it's leaning over quite a bit. It's grown taller than I am. I'm 6 foot tall, so this is quite a surprise for us.
Yeah, I am shocked. I did not know I was going to get this tall. These blackberries are looking so good. I mean, obviously they're not done yet, but oh my goodness, so exciting. Okay, so we have to harvest some of these here too. We have some green beans. This is the plant. These are the plants that got eaten up by the groundhog and then kind of started growing again, but there's not a lot. What do you think, Glenn? Should we just get rid of these?
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm thinking that
they're just taking up space,
they're
right?
just taking space. They're not really producing that much. They got really devastated by that groundhog, so I think that we're just going to take them out.
This is all I got right now. So that's definitely not worth it. Not to keep these plants here. I mean, and I see some flowers. Wait, I see flowers. Should we leave them?
A few of them maybe have flowers, some of them don't though.
Okay, yeah, I think the ones that you're taking out are fine.
And this will just give the blackberries more space anyway, so they'll be all right.
So over here, these green beans are just I think they're like Blue Lake pole beans. But I think I would let some get a little too big. Maybe I should just leave some of the big ones for seed because they're not very fun to eat when they're too big. I keep checking several times because every time I think I'm done, I find some more. Like here, for example, I just found a couple more. So not a lot of green beans from those plants, but it's something, and I think they're gonna recover more, and then they're gonna put out more flowers later too. Our raspberries over here in this raspberry bed where the green beans are. Oh my goodness, they're doing so well. They are so loaded, and we keep getting new flowers, and that is so exciting. I think we're gonna be harvesting a lot of raspberries later on in the season. We are so excited that we can finally harvest some of these big paste tomatoes. We have been waiting for this time for so long. So we're going to be harvesting some of these. We have Sheboygan paste tomatoes and also Amish paste. The hope is that we're going to be able to have enough so that we can start making some tomato sauce. Some of these are a little bit cracked, but that's okay. Some of them still have this yellow part, so they're not fully red. But here, for example, oh, this one just fell off. It has this blemish here, and if we leave it on the vine, the blemish is just going to get worse. What I can do is just cut off that part and use the rest. And I think that's going to be the case with all the tomatoes that are splitting, even like this one. I think this one looks good. I'll harvest that one. This one too, right? Because it has,
Yep.
I mean, it feels very soft. And it has these parts where it's split. And I don't want to give it room for like for it to get bad. This one, I barely touched it and it just fell off the vine. And it has like these little soft spots. I'm not sure if we're going to try to save half of this or give it to the chickens. But for now, we'll keep it here. And this one too, I think. Yep. I mean, a lot of these are just falling off the vine. And maybe it's okay. Maybe we don't have to wait for them to be so red. These ones here are brandywine tomatoes. These are not paste tomatoes. They look so good. And again, because of all that splitting, I think it's best to harvest them now. This one here too, right?
Yep, I think so.
Here's another big one. Again, a lot of these tomatoes split, but it's okay. We'll just cut off some parts. And I think these will be the last two that we're going to harvest today because we're going to let the other ones ripen a little bit more. Oh, some of these are so huge. It is so exciting. Oh, that one just fell right off. So I think we definitely have enough for at least one meal with tomato sauce. And we have some Roma tomatoes in the back. I think we need to check. I don't know if we have any of them ready, but we'll check. There are a few that are turning red, but they're not ready yet. So, oh, this one just fell off the vine. So I guess that one was ready. Other than that, no, we need to let them do their thing. But I want you to see the difference. This is an Amish paste tomato, and this is the Roma tomato that I just harvested from this bed, and huge difference. So definitely these paste tomatoes that we got, the Sheboygan and the Amish paste, are a huge success, and I'm so happy with these so far. These cucumbers have been producing so much for us. We pretty much harvest cucumbers every day. We have so much, but we're actually doing a pretty good job consuming what we are growing. So it's exciting. There's a lot of cucumbers to harvest in this row and the next row, the row behind me. So the trick is to find them. Here's another one. I think these are pretty good. Like some of the other ones that we've gotten are a little bit too big because sometimes we just miss them, but I think these are perfect. And I constantly need to pay attention to these plants because if I don't help them trellis, sometimes they're just going to start flopping over. And you can see that the leaves are starting to get yellow and spotty. It probably has some kind of fungal disease, but I don't really want to do anything about that right now. I always have to double check or triple check because they are so easy to miss. And see, I have to keep helping these plants find their way up the trellis. For the most part, they're doing really well. Just every once in a while, I need to make sure they're going up. This is the asparagus bed where we grew some determinate cherry tomatoes. And I've mentioned before that I'm not happy with these, and you can clearly see why. They just kind of flopped over. They got some kind of disease. So today is the day that we're going to remove these because I feel like they're just taking up a lot of space and they're not very healthy. And that's going to give these pepper plants a better chance to keep growing with all the extra space that they're going to have. And then we're also going to use these tomato cages to support some pepper plants on the other side of this bed that are just getting really tall, and they could totally use that support. So first we're going to harvest all these cherry tomatoes that are ready, and then it'll be time to start removing all of these plants. Okay, so we're going to remove these cages, right? And we're going to remove the plants. And I think once we remove the plants, it's going to be easier to harvest. Oh, I'm so happy about these plants going.
Yeah, they didn't grow exactly the way we thought they would.
Yeah, I
My
mean, I don't
goodness.
mind growing determinate cherry tomatoes, but if I do that again next year, I want to do the tiny Tim tomatoes that we did last year. Those ones were really compact, and I love that for that would have been perfect for a space like this. I did not anticipate these plants to get so big, and because they get so big, they kind of topple over. Yeah, we have some tomatoes that need to go to the
Yeah,
chickens.
there go the
Those are
chickens.
probably for the chickens.
And that way we could just kind of get at these right here a little bit better.
I mean, they definitely produce a lot of tomatoes, but it's not worth it for me because they're kind of a mess and I don't like them like that.
And also, too, quite a lot of them we've given to the chickens because they're just kind of gross at the bottom. It's kind of hard to see them. And so by the time they're actually ready to harvest, they've already
Mm,
split in half and they're kind of gross.
yeah, they're kind of mushy already. This one here that Glenn just pulled out, I believe it was mislabeled. It must have not been an indeterminate tomato plant because it's so huge. Definitely way bigger than all the other ones. And these tomatoes are red. The ones that we planted here in this bed, the determinate variety, I think they're called gold nugget tomatoes. And these are definitely red. So these must be an indeterminate variety that kind of got thrown into the mix here. Yeah, so we pulled out 7 of these plants and just look at how much space it has opened. I am so happy about that because now these peppers that we have here, we have a row of peppers. They're going to be able to grow just fine. And then our asparagus here, we'll just have a chance to continue to do its thing and it's going to be good. I am tempted though, and I was telling Glenn this, that I'm tempted to plant something right here because I'm like, ooh, we have an open space, but I'm going to restrain myself and I'm just going to leave that space so that the peppers and the asparagus can just enjoy all that space. So this is what we harvested just from this bed after ripping out those plants. And this is probably about close to 5 pounds. Just yesterday, the boys harvested over 7 pounds and it was like a full bowl of these. Um, so I'm thinking it's about 5 pounds. And we still have rows and rows of cherry tomatoes that need to be harvested, and the boys are going to take care of that. So back to the volunteer tomatoes over here. It's just so much. So far they probably have about 7 pounds of cherry tomatoes already. It's pretty good. Same thing we harvested yesterday, so we have a lot of tomatoes. We are so excited that we have our first official red pepper, and we have, you can see we have a few more peppers in the back there that are starting to turn red as well. This red pepper is actually supporting the plant right now. So once we harvest that pepper, we are going to need to put a trellis around this plant to support it because it's kind of growing sideways right now. Okay, first we're going to harvest this beauty right here. Oh my goodness, so exciting. And then Glenn is holding the plant because now that this thing is gone, the plant is going to collapse. And it's growing sideways. So we need to figure out what to do. Do you want me to hold it so that you can
Yeah,
put the trellis?
I'm gonna have Laura hold this on this side, and then I'm gonna bring around the cage on the other side from that from
Mm-hmm.
right there, very gently.
Yeah.
It needs to be closer like this. Okay.
Can I let go?
Yeah, let's let go and see how cage is going to hold it up a little bit. Hold on here. This thing needs to come up. There we go. There we go. Like we can start pushing it down a little bit or not yet?
We should probably. Well, actually, yes, I think so.
Just a little bit. There we go.
Oh, it's very wonky right now.
And we're also trying to be careful with the asparagus.
But it looks like it's going to be okay. That's good. And I think we're going to do the same thing over to this one, right, Glenn? This really tall one?
I think we're going to try to figure out how to do that, yeah.
We're going to try it because it's getting really tall and it has a lot of fruit and we don't want it to topple over. All right, we did it. We got the second plant caged up. That was rough. And in the process, we broke a couple branches. So, oh well, we'll just have to eat these even though they're still kind of small. But we are good to go and move on to the next thing. This is cilantro that went to seed, and I purposely did that because I wanted to save seed this year. It already dropped some seed, so it's probably gonna start growing over there with the onions. But I'm gonna set this in the patio and let it dry. So here we have more cilantro seeds that I need to harvest. And these are kind of getting in the way with the tomatoes over here. And we also need to harvest some of the carrots that are in here. So it is time for these seeds to come out. Even as I'm touching the plant, hundreds of seeds are falling on the ground. So we're going to have a lot of cilantro growing here in this area, but that's okay. Oh man, this one is huge. And another one here. All right, so that opened up a lot of space over here. And in between these tomato plants, we have carrots. And oh my gosh, you guys, I am so excited for these carrots. They look huge. Now, we know with carrots, like you never really know until you pull them out of the ground, but you're gonna see some of these look like they're gonna be amazing. So I'm excited to pull these out and see what happens. This is huge. Look at that. Oh my goodness, I think it's gonna be huge. But oh no, I am seeing that right here it's cracked. Oh, maybe we let it go too long. Maybe it got so big that it cracked. Okay, we'll pull it out and we'll see. Okay, here we go. I'm so excited and nervous at the same time. Oh my gosh, look at this. Ooh, this is very thick. That's very good. This is a part that split, which is not a problem. We can cut that out. Oh, no. Do you see that? It's some kind of worm
Yeah,
or something. It's coming out of it. Oh, that's gross. And there's another one right here. Oh my goodness. So this is not looking good. I I'm very disappointed. That was our biggest carrot, I think. And we had to give it to the chickens. There were three of those big, well, they're not big, but they're gross worm looking things. I don't know what they are. Maybe centipedes. I don't know. But we got rid of it. But I'm hopeful that the other ones are going to be okay because we have a lot of carrots in this route. And so I'm just hoping we're going to get a good harvest still. All right, so this other one looks big also. Wow, this one definitely tricked me because I thought it would be longer um because the circumference over here was big, but we'll take it.
it doesn't have those worm things.
Yeah, it's intact, so that's good. Okay, another one. Ooh, nice. I like this one. Wow, look at this one. This is huge. Oh, these are very nice. Oh, I think this one's gonna be a big one too. Oh my goodness. This is pretty long and thick. Oh, this one's split too. But so far, I don't see those yucky things. So I think we're safe.
Yeah.
So the idea that we had planting carrots over here is a great idea because we're using the space in between these two tomato rows. But I do have to say that it is but I do have to say that it is a little bit challenging to harvest because I have like tomato plants like all up in my face and that doesn't feel very nice. Beautiful. Oh, these are good, you guys. I'm so excited. I think now that I'm on a roll, I think I just want to harvest this whole row. Right, Glenn? We should do that, right?
Yeah,
Just
let's
harvest the
just
whole row.
harvest it all.
Yeah.
They
This is
look
probably going to
delicious
be
on
a
top of
small
it,
one.
so I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was going to be smaller. I'm happy with this one too. Oh, I should probably. Oh, this one's split too. Yeah, I think some of them got too big and they just split. Oh, and I broke the tip. Yeah. Oh, I see a worm right here. Do you see, honey? Just fell. Look. This one's really, really split open and it kind of has holes in there, I think. I think we might be able to rescue some of it. We'll see. I'm going to try to dig around it a little bit because I don't want to break it. Oh my gosh. And every time I talk, I get tomato plants in my mouth. Tomato leaves. Ooh, this one's short and stout, but it's a good one. Oh, I love harvesting carrots. They're a lot of fun. It's kind of like harvesting potatoes. You know, you never know what you're going to get. It's like a little treasure hunt. And we don't grow potatoes because we don't eat potatoes. But I actually enjoy watching potato harvest videos because they're just so satisfying. And I kind of always wanted to like try growing potatoes just for fun, but I don't got time for that or space. So these carrots, it's kind of like potatoes for me. They get the same um, reward, I guess, you know. They're looking so good. Yeah. Lots of good carrots over here, you guys. I am so impressed. I'm curious to find out like how many carrots we get from this row because this is just one row of carrots in this bed because on the other row we had beets that we just harvested. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Whenever we did our last harvest video. Like I said, it is really hard to harvest these. I can't really see what I'm doing. Oh, nice. So good. I have all kinds of foliage right up against my face, going into my mouth. But this is so exciting. I absolutely love doing this. The harvest is definitely a fun experience, but we know that it took a lot to get here. We worked hard to get to this point. And if you grow your own food, you know that as well. It is a lot of work, but we also know that it's very rewarding. Oh, wow. These are so good. And I feel like they're very consistent too. It's not like we've had some, um, ew. Oh my gosh, this is gross. I think this whole thing needs to go to the chickens, don't you think, honey?
Yes.
I feel like I see a lot of holes and it probably
Worm
has a lot of
infested.
those. Yeah. And we are down to the last few carrots of this row. More of these. I don't know what these are, why they're here. If you know, would you please let me know in the comments? You guys have been so kind, and many times you guys tell me what I could be dealing with, and I learned so much from you guys. So if you guys know what that is, and if there's any way to prevent that, that would be very helpful.
These are pretty good size here. The last one in this bed here. There we are.
This bed is just so full of kale and collard greens and all kinds of leafy greens. It is just so hard to keep up with it because we just have so much. I've already frozen so much for the winter. I think I've exceeded my goal, which is awesome. Um, but we just have so much, and we eat kale very often, uh, almost maybe like every other day, and we still have so much here. And we planted some lettuce and other things that are smaller, so we want to make sure they get some airflow and some light. So removing these leaves is very important. All right, we're doing it, guys. Good job. Is that your elephant ear, Nico? Yeah, we've harvested so much, but it almost feels like we've done nothing because it still is just so thick.
And our bucket is overflowing.
Yeah. This bed is so full of everything. We have basil here that is just going wild, but we also have, believe it or not, we have a lot of jalapeno plants here. And I think we are ready to harvest some, so I'm going to kind of look through in here and see. Oh, here we go. Here are some bigger ones. Now with jalapenos, it's kind of hard for me to know like when is a good time to harvest. So I'm just gonna go for it. I mean, the worst thing that could happen is that they're not as spicy. But there's just so many here that I think I need to harvest those. Oh, so many. This is just one plant. Yeah, just this one plant is so loaded. And back here I have some jalapenos that turned red, but they're also a little bit cracked. I'm not quite sure what that means. And I think also red means that they're just a little bit more spicy, which is fine. My son will really enjoy that. So I think I'm gonna let all the other ones keep growing. Oh my gosh, you guys, it smells amazing over here because of the basil. This is actually my first year, my first time growing jalapenos, which is pretty cool. I'm excited that we got to try something new this year. I think there's another plant over here that again is just super loaded, but maybe not quite ready to harvest yet. So that's a good amount of jalapenos that we just got right now. And now I'm gonna harvest all this basil here so that we can kind of see what else is going on in this bed. We have a lot of celery interplanted between our tomatoes, so I'm gonna harvest some of those. And we like to harvest just the outside stalks, and then they will continue to grow. I'm gonna try not to harvest too much because we don't consume it quite as fast, so we don't want it to go to waste. We were finally able to harvest these. Well, actually, we had a storm the other day and they couldn't withstand the wind and they just fell. But these look ready and we're so excited for these. We also got a spaghetti squash, which hopefully we're going to be using this coming week for one of our meals. Check out these sunflowers, you guys. I am so excited. I love these sunflowers. They look so beautiful. Those ones back there are exceeding my expectation. I had this vision of having my entire back wall covered with these sunflowers and they're just looking amazing. I am so excited. And these ones over here are just absolutely beautiful. I actually did not plant these. These just came up on their own. So I'm not sure what variety they are, but the ones against the wall back there, some of them are the mammoth sunflowers and they're gonna grow a really big head, probably just one head. And we're gonna use them for us to eat. And then I also have some black Russian sunflowers that are also good for us to eat, but we can also give them to the chickens. So we are so excited. Obviously, these are not ready to harvest yet, but I just wanted to show you this because the last time I made a garden tour, these were not even, these hadn't even opened yet. So now, like, I just love sitting out here and looking at the garden and seeing this pop of color is just beautiful. I am standing right here by the sunflowers just to give you an idea of how tall they are. These, probably the one in the back is, I don't know, 12, 13 feet tall. And these are just massive. There's a lot going on behind me, but I rarely make it back there because there's just way too much going on over here. It's a little bit intimidating, actually. But I do want to show you a watermelon that's growing back here that is so exciting for us. So let's brave this wilderness and let's go check out the watermelon. Here's the watermelon. It's so exciting. It keeps growing. I'm pretty sure there's another watermelon. I know I've seen one before, but I can't find it now. There is so much happening down here at the base of these butternut squash plants. So I think the watermelon is somewhere in there. This idea, growing the watermelon at the base of the butternut squash plant, I don't know if it's paying off because if we only have one or two watermelons growing out of this, not quite sure if it's worth it. These are some of the sunflower stalks. Look at how thick these are. This is my hand just for reference, but oh my goodness, these are so incredibly thick. And I just want to show you how tall they get. Oh my word. There they are. That's the tallest one. That one's the one that's probably 13 or maybe even 15 feet tall. This sunflower here looks like it's starting to dry up already and form some seeds. So very exciting. Since I'm back here already, I just want to show you some of these butternut squashes. Oh my word, they are huge. I don't think we've ever grown butternut squash this big, and we have so many. I want to say around 20 so far, and lots of little female flowers and baby squash that are growing. You can even see that one on the other side. That one is huge. It is a good year for butternut squash. We are excited for this. It really does feel like going to the grocery store. We have been feeding our family strictly from what we grow here in our garden for a while now, and that has been so exciting for us. It is exactly what we've been trying to accomplish, and we are so grateful that we're able to do that. In our next video, I'm going to be showing you some of the meals that we made using all the fresh produce that we have. And you're not going to want to miss it. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and you hit the notification button so that you won't miss it.